the Paper Fold. I am your host, Sarah, the Paper Nerd, and I'm so glad to be back nerding out with you on my favorite topic, stationery. Before I get to my fascinating guest today, I need to call out my very special sponsor, Avanti Press. Based in Detroit and New York, the company produces the Avanti, A-Press, and America card brands, plus distributes Dominique Sherman's Nikki D lifestyle brand in North America. They are always up to something at Avanti Press, and this fall they are inviting all makers and publishers to visit Detroit for the GCA's annual conference, October 6th through 8th. The city was just named one of only 5 locations in the USA to visit in 2025 by the New York Times last month, and you can bet Avanti will give you the insider's tour. Registration opens soon, so visit www.greetingcard.org/greeting-card-conference/ to grab your spot for this can't-miss opportunity to connect with paper people from around the country. Now, on to my incredible guest and wonderful friend, Catherine Hildner. Where do I even begin? Catherine is the founder of Kitty Meow Boutique and was my guest on episode 20 of this podcast, and this brand has also advertised on this podcast as well. Catherine truly seeks to connect people, and specifically women, with a range that doesn't sound or look like any other. So it wasn't too surprising to me when, in conjunction with Allison Carter, Catherine created the incredible Ultimate Product Party series of events and podcasts to empower other product-based creatives to truly thrive as they bring their own visions to life. With that type of drive to always be her best self and help others achieve that as well, I wasn't truly surprised either to hear that Catherine is selling her business to embark on a completely new chapter. And I'm so proud to have learned that I played a minor yet essential supporting role. However, Catherine is not completely bidding farewell to Kitty Meow as she embarks on new adventures. With all this going on, you know Catherine's got quite a tale to tell. Well, I have a million questions for her, so I'll have her on here right after this. Nerds, I cannot be the only one wondering what that fantastic and fantastical LA-based brand Girl with Knife has been up to lately. After all, this California house of design has trailblazed its way through paper goods, home decor, and yes, even house design since the incredible creative powerhouse Alicia Castaldi founded it in 2018. Every last creation humbly springs from a nimble slice of Alicia's knife, aka her trusty X-Acto blade, with messaging and imagery that is by turns sweet and sassy, but always incredibly smart. You want this girl by your proverbial side. It's no surprise then that Girl with Knife has assembled a huge stack of titles and awards in its brief existence. Among them, the incredibly prestigious Artist of the Year Louis Award in 2022, as well as the equally competitive but far edgier Best Use of Profanity, Noted at Noted Award, and not just once, but 2 times over. Clearly, I am not the only one waiting raptly to see what drops next. New for 2025, look out for a dozen new card designs, both everyday and seasonal, as well as some gorgeous wraps in which to stylishly clad your gifts. Alicia tells me it is a tease to whet your appetite for a much larger spring release coming. I, for one, cannot wait. Meanwhile, since officially opening its doors for business, Knife House Palm Springs has been booked rather solid with weddings and photo shoots. And after 2 years of painstaking work, Knife House Bel Air is finally complete. These houses transmit Alicia's vision into exquisite 3-dimensional living spaces, but for those of us who cannot experience them in California, Girl with Knife dispenses that glamour in paper and gift form. Thus, whether it is a hilarious greeting card for that bestie you have been missing, like the one reading, "You're the only one I answer the phone for," against an image of an old-fashioned phone replete with curly cord, or the eternally fierce candle, an intoxicating essence of midnight rose to remind you of your true nature in olfactory form, this is officially your brand new BFF in paper goods and home decor. So, if you're a paper or design nerd out in the wild looking to express your best self as you lift up those you adore, head on over to girlwithknife.com and immerse yourself. And if you are in the trade, shop this top shop brand sensation exclusively on Fair 24/7 and be on the lookout for winter market specials. I guarantee your stationery, as well as your living and workspaces, will slay. welcome back to the Paper Folds.
Woohoo! Thank you, Sarah. I'm so excited to be here. Always love just being able to hang out with you.
Me too. So you have been a guest on this podcast. You were a longtime supporter of this podcast, for which I will always be grateful. And I also just had the honor of watching your business kind of come to life and blossom, which is always a joy to me personally. But as we sit down to record, you're starting a new chapter. And apparently I played a very small supporting role. So as far as I know, it started in February 2024 at New York Now. And based on an interaction that I had with a friend, I just asked you sort of out of the blue at your booth if you had ever thought about selling your business. And if so, would you like me to connect you with him? And you said yes. I connected you, and I pretty much forgot all about the interaction. I exited stage right. So can you just sort of pick up with what happened after that?
Oh gosh, it's been so much. I remember you strolling the streets of New York Now when you came by my booth, and was obviously happy to see you, looking forward to connecting and having dinner even more during the week. But you had asked, like, hey, have you ever been interested in selling your business? And it was, I don't want to say divine timing because I don't think it's that serious, but like, yes, I was in a mode where I absolutely wanted to sell my business, or I don't even think selling was an option. I was ready to move on. And I told myself in 2023 that, like, hey, I'm going to give this all I got for the next year, and I'm going to see what happens. And it honestly wasn't even like money that made me feel this way. It was just like I don't know. Wasn't having the same joy about it. It's like the more that your business grow, the more expensive things become. And it's not that it was too hard. Like, I can do too hard. I just was losing that loving feeling a little bit. And so when you just rolled into New York with that, I was like, okay, tell me more. And I probably wanted to go to you more for, like, Sarah, what do you think about this? But like, you didn't know. And that's not your wheelhouse.
Not at all.
Not at all. But I think from the outside looking in, you're like, oh, well, Sarah knows everything about the stationery community. She's going to be your one-stop shop for all your questions and needs. But it was cool to even think that my business was something that someone else would want, and 2, that it could live on without you, 3, that it would be something of value. So a lot of emotions going through my head. And I did speak with your friend. I felt like way in over my head. I was just like, what? Because the whole process, I'm like, this is legit. I just felt like total imposter syndrome. That, no, I am not ready for this. My business isn't worthy of this. And that's when I'm like, okay, this buyer, because I'm a very skeptical person. I'm like, this person who claims that they're interested in my business, like, I want to know if that's actually true. So I reached out to this person, the potential buyer, on LinkedIn. I was like, hello, sir. His name's Rich Cancilla. He's a lovely guy. I'm like, so I'm kind of curious, is this actually true? Are you actually interested in my business? And he confirmed, like, yes.
Look, it's hard to tell. It's very, very difficult to tell who is trustworthy, who is honest, who is selling you a can of worms. Like, I think you're very smart to sort of do your homework a little bit.
Yeah. And I can't even take credit for that idea. It was a mentor that was like, hey, just reach out to this person and see if they're legit. And I'm like, okay, easy enough. So I had a really great conversation with Rich from Shade Tree Greetings. That was the company that we're talking about here that was interested in Kitty Meow. And again, felt like way in over my head. I felt like the process was going to be not something that I was able to handle at the moment or willing to take on. We were right in the home stretch of putting together UPP, Ultimate Product Party. The months went on, and I felt like I was developing this good rapport with Rich. And I just kind of like asked him straight up, I'm like, hey, if this is something that I'm interested in doing in the future, because I don't think that I'm interested right now, can I just keep it super simple? And he was like, okay, well, so.
Right. Hey nerds, many of you are already familiar with Paper Baristas and its incredible founder, Christy Asper. Christy was my guest on episode 56 of The Paperfold and is also a longtime friend and the founding sponsor of our Nerd Notes segment. Today, I'm thrilled to share a little more of what's new in 2025 for this all-American house of paper that has been brewing paper goods to do good since 2019. This eco-conscious, fair trade brand loves upcycling what would otherwise go in the trash to enjoy a gorgeous new life and a gorgeous new utility to keep you on top of your game. When you choose to support this family-owned brand, you're supporting a business that puts people and the planet before profit. There's no plastic packaging, and every product blends recycled and upcycled elements. The handmade wood-free paper is recycled and biodegradable, made from cotton rag waste from the garment industry that would otherwise go in a landfill. The paper itself is created using pollution-free methods such as sheets that are sun-dried, conserving energy usage, and is chemical-free, protecting our waterways. Whether the product in question is one of its signature decal-edge letterpress cards or a recycled lunch bag, 10% of all Paper Baristas profits are donated to the International Justice Mission to fight human trafficking. That means that long after your purchase, it assists in someone's fresh start. While it is easy to generate a product that looks good, it is a huge challenge to create items that truly do good as well. Thus, it is no exaggeration to say that every Paper Barista's offering is a labor of love to bring into the world. While its marvelous caffeinated notepad is its newest release, take a few minutes and really experience their range. Its vibrant, heartfelt greeting cards are available folded or flat. There are endless undated planners, notebooks, and journals. They recently introduced plantable seed paper gift tags and ornaments, as well as stickers. And don't get me started on their home goods. Check out their floating frames, recycled canvas lunch bags and pencil bags, recycled microfiber tea towels, and my personal favorite, Swedish dishcloths. Every time you use one, that's one less used paper towel. Every last creation is a joy to use every time. So, if you are a paper nerd in the wild, start your caffeinated stationery journey at paperbaristas.com. And whether you are in the trade or in the wild, head on over to the very first Chicago Stationery Fest happening March 22nd and 23rd. This premier weekend festival is the talk of the stationery community, and there Christy will not only be conducting letterpress demos, but teaching a calligraphy class as well. I, for one, will not be missing out. So, whether you connect with Paper Baristas via a screen or real life, be sure to tell Christy that Sarah sent you. But to be fair, I mean, you had something he was interested in, it was still viable, property, so to speak. So it wasn't like you weren't just chopped liver.
Yeah, thank you. It still blows my mind that I had something that he was interested in. And it's like a really cool, surreal feeling. And right before we hopped on this podcast interview, I shared an Instagram post, one saying that I'm going to share the story of how this came to be on this podcast episode, and then just announcing who the partner was, because I hadn't done that yet. So, okay, months go on, the summer goes by, and I decide that I want to take on a totally new business opportunity. But I'm like, ooh, shit, what do I do with Kid Meow? Because at that point, I've already kind of decided that I'm just done. I've done way more with this business that I ever thought possible, that I ever thought I was worthy of. And yeah, there's always way more to grow. And there's stationery companies way bigger than I am doing insane things. But I felt like I kind of hit my max and I was ready to try something new. So when I got that new business opportunity and bought a new business in a totally different field and having to go through all this testing and training, and now I'm totally out of my element, totally out of my comfort zone, totally out of my area of expertise. But I'm like, oh, I love this business, this Kitty Meow business so much. How can I just let this die? I can't be lazy and just, pull the plug and move on with life. It has to continue on without me. So I send Rich an email. I'm like, subject line, I think I'm ready. Dot, dot, dot. And he's so patient and so kind and treats me like not that he wouldn't, but I feel like sometimes from men, maybe not necessarily in the industry, but other businessmen, I don't get that kind of like respect, but he has always treated me as like with the utmost respect. And like, yes, you have a business that I am absolutely interested in being a partner with. So long story short, we worked out a licensing deal where they bought all of my greeting card inventory and we shipped it to New York. And now they're taking on the sales, production, marketing, all the expenses. And I get to just sit back, move on with my new business and collect my quarterly royalty check. And I'm really, really excited.
It is really exciting. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, that is huge. Will there be new Kitty Meow merchandise?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We worked out something where they would ask me first for new designs, and if I had the capacity for it, I would do them. And if I declined and did not have the capacity for it, they would design in the Kitty Meow style with my approval, not my approval, but my I guess approval. Because I'm like, okay, you design like me, not Rich, but his team. I'm like, what if I don't like it? What if I don't think it looks like me? This is giving me severe anxiety because I've hired designers before. I've hired designers that, testing them out because I wanted to be able to bust out more new work and it just didn't work out for me. I'm like, this looks nothing like it would fit into the Kitty Meow brand. So it'll still be cohesive. I just don't get a royalty off of those designs if they are the ones who created them.
Okay, that makes total sense. Well, I mean, it's huge. There's so much here. First of all, I just wanted to say, like, you strike me. I've known you a while now. You strike me as such an adventurous person, whether it is with UPP or like whatever you're doing, you really immerse yourself in it and you love a new challenge. So I can understand why you sort of are in this situation. I'm glad you're not totally letting go of Kitty Meow. I think the messaging that you created with it is so important. Obviously, clearly it resonates. So it needs to like keep coming out into the world. And it's interesting too to look at Shade Tree and sort of see some of their different ranges and their different sort of messaging vibes, for lack of a better word, and see how you fit in there. Like I think it's a real win-win and it's hopefully like freeing for you, yet you're still kind of able to scratch that creative urge if you want it while you're freed up to do new projects and new adventures. I mean, it's really exciting. And I think, I'm sure it's very inspiring to a lot of other makers out there who might be grappling with similar challenges.
Yeah, I thank you so much. And I'll be totally transparent. When I first came across Rich and his business, like they are more old school. They are more traditional stationery companies. They like print all this stuff in house and they have like their team. And I guess me being so social media focused was a little like, they don't have a social media presence. Like, what are people going to think about my brand or me pairing up with a company that isn't, going viral on TikTok or Instagram? And at the end of the day, I really had to look past that and look like, hey, they have many brands that are very successful. They have a whole team of like sales reps and like they run the whole gamut, way more capacity than I have in my business. And you can't let that be the deal breaker because it's so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, like I'm still going to be the one posting on social media for Kitty Meow, but my capacity for it is probably not going to be the same as it was previously, but like that's okay.
Right. Like you're making it fit into your life now, vice versa. You're not like molding your whole life to make those 10 Instagram posts a week or churn out those reels or what have you. It is interesting to me as well that there are so many, for lack of a better term, old school stationery companies still operating, with reps, and they really like Shade Tree has its fingers in a lot of different markets, a lot of different stores, a lot of different venues that the average maker just starting out just would not have access to. So I think it's a win-win, and I think it's great that we'll still see the range will still be alive. It still needs to. So what is next for you? Can you share what you're doing now, like what your next businesses?
Yeah, totally. So still on the Kitty Meow side, I have about like $15,000 worth of inventory in my basement of cocktail napkins with nowhere to sell them other than Etsy, because as part of the licensing deal, they've taken over my main revenue stream platforms. So if anyone wants to reach out to me personally, hit me up for some cocktail napkins. I'm your girl. But
I think that's a boon for some retailer who could get a ton of your napkins and just keep putting them out. Like those little cocktail napkins really move in the right, when the retailer knows how to present them correctly. So, and your napkins are great. I've used them.
Thank you. I mean, I think they're so cute, and literally I will just give them away at this point. Just yesterday, redid our entire basement area that used to be the junk room, and we had to clear out all the junk because had to make room for bins and bins and bins of cocktail napkins.
We'll be right back after this.
Is the pressure of your wedding day being perfect from sunrise to sunset weighing on your mind? Planning a wedding is stressful, but guess what? We are here to help. On the Bridechilla podcast, we celebrate love and help you plan your wedding day. We're all about keeping it real and having fun every step of the way. So whether you're just starting to plan or counting down the days, we're here to help you stay cool, calm, and collected. We have expert tips and amazing guests like wedding dress designer Haley Page. Let's get this party started and embrace your inner Bridechilla. Listen to Bridechilla wherever you get podcasts or visit us at thebridechilla.com.
And we're back.
So the new business venture, and I never in a million years thought that this would be my path or that I would be saying this out loud to myself, let alone out loud on a podcast. But I have bought an insurance agency and I'm going to be doing that. And can I tell the story of how it came to be?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So it was a summer day after New York Now. In full transparency, my husband has worked for Farmers Insurance for over 20 years. And within the company, they always have yearly achievement clubs. So if you're in the 10% of the company, they send you on a fully paid trip that's tons of fun and all that good stuff. So I've been going to these trips for a very long time with my husband. And most of the time I sit in on these sessions and I don't know, just wait until the next time like cocktails are served or we get to hang out by the pool. And we were in New Mexico and he was like, hey, do you want to sit in with me for the general session? And I was like, meh, not really, but I will, because what else am I going to do? I'm here to support you. And as we were sitting there and they were talking about and my husband doesn't sell insurance. He's never sold insurance. He has worked on the corporate side for a while, and then he now recruits agents to sell insurance. And the whole business or the whole company is really structured around the agent because they want to recruit more people to sell insurance. And I was sitting there in that general session, just like really listening to the opportunities that they give to these agents that they pay for. And I'm like, what? A mentor, a business coach, like this type of marketing, this resource that they just give to you, that I pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with my own Kitty Meow greeting card money to fund on a regular basis. Like, this is insane. And we were at the pool and I was nervous to say this to my husband because I thought he was going to like laugh in my face. And I was like, what if I did this? He's like, are you joking? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, we're in this room of people who are, let's be honest, they're not special unicorns. They're just average people. I'm like, they're killing it doing this. And like, I love being a business owner and I love helping people. And if I could still do that in my own unique way, take everything that I've ever learned from building Kitty Meow, the good, the bad, especially the marketing and the relationship building, and like, what if I did this instead? Because I've kind of been done with what I'm doing now and I'm not feeling fulfilled. And he was like, okay, let's go. So we, instead of starting from scratch, which a lot of people do, we had the opportunity to buy an agency from a woman who was retiring after 30 years. And like, I already have a team of 5 people. And as we're closing down the Kitty Meow HQ, we're opening up a new office. And it's like so crazy and so much change. And I feel like I am not prepared and I have no idea what I'm doing, but we're going to figure it out.
Right, right. I love it. It's a brand new adventure, and I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, and
it's really exciting.
Greeting cards are going to be a huge part of my agency because I really believe that it's, again, like, no one cares about insurance. Come on. Like, and it's something that we need to have by law. But if you're going to have it with someone, then you should have your business with someone who cares about you, who is knowledgeable, who takes the time to get to know your needs. And I want to apply that same customer service aspect and send people greeting cards, whether it's a congratulations or a birthday or sympathy, like all those touch points will forever be important to me. And just because I'm moving on to a different industry, like I'm still who I am at the core. And yeah.
I'm so excited for you. And yes, and I definitely agree that greeting cards have a huge place in it. Like every time you land a new client, you send them a quick note. Thank you. You know, I'm so excited to work with you. You already have the cards because you made all those corporate cards that I thought were so amazing that were sort of, you know, just entrepreneurial. Like, I'm so excited to start this project with you. I'd never seen cards like that before you did them. And they are so well suited to your next endeavor. But also just, you're right, sending someone a birthday card, sending someone an anniversary card. It's a real great way to hold your clients' hands and really feel like, you know, you're partnering with them in life. My husband's family, a lot of people sell insurance in it. So I don't know too much about that business, but I see people going on calls and, you know, doing those types of things. I mean, you're really, you know, you do really kind of help people get through difficult things in life. You know, it's still a very helping industry, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And it does feel like more pressure in the past when someone's greeting card order was stuck in the mail or, you know, the post office didn't deliver when they said they would. My philosophy was always like, oh, we're selling greeting cards. Okay, this is supposed to be fun. It's not that serious. No one will die if they don't get their greeting card order like right away. And it's a little bit different with what I'm selling now. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Totally. I'm always telling my sister and her kids that because several of my sister's children are entering the medical profession, and I'm always giving them greeting cards and things like that. And I have found myself saying, like, as far as I know, no one has died because of a greeting card. Like, it just doesn't, it's just such a more low key, laid back industry. But it's so exciting that you're starting this. And I'm just so happy and excited for you, my friend, and thrilled that I could play a tiny role. I mean, when
Huge
I
role.
think of, thank you. I'm just so glad, you know, you never know when like a random conversation is gonna, you know, really literally change someone's life. So it's really cool just to see it come full circle. And I'm just so excited for you, my friend. What kind of insurance, in case anybody needs it? I want them to come to you for their insurance needs. I know there's a million different kinds. So do you have a focus?
Oh gosh. Well, not health insurance, because I feel like health insurance is getting a bad rap right now. I don't want anything to do with that. So it is primarily going to be auto, home, life, and business insurance. So if you are a retail store and you have a space that you need to insure, I'm licensed in the states of Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, in Wisconsin.
That's incredible. And of course, you have a lot of insider's knowledge about their needs. I mean, they're not just like walking in and being like, I employ this many people, my store, is by a river, that might flood, that kind of thing. Like, you definitely understand what goes into running a retail store and all the ducks that have to be in a row in these small businesses. So I think that's amazing. And you might even be able to hook them up with Shade Tree and give them a little stock as well.
There you go. But quickly going back to the point you said about how you never know when a little conversation can turn into something bigger. You couldn't be more right. And I know there are a million times as small business owners, especially within the stationery community, you're like, well, I got to invest in this. I got to go to this show. I got to go to that. And then maybe you're a little disappointed because it wasn't what you anticipated it to be. You didn't get the orders. You didn't get the traffic, all these other things that you personally absolutely cannot control. But there is always something like beautiful that you can take away when you put yourself out there and make these investments, take these risks. And for me at that show, like, that connection with you and then Richard, like, that is the beautiful thing that came out of this. And it never would have happened if I wasn't there that day, because if you didn't post about me on social media because you walked past my booth, then like the conversation likely never would have been started. So I know it's been a really hard year for creatives and the retail world in general, but like whatever that looks like for you, whether it's to take a totally different turn or to keep going and continue to put yourself out there, like, I want people to know that it's so important, because you're not going to get those opportunities if you don't do it.
Absolutely. I love that. I mean, I'm getting ready to go to Atlanta next week and then New York again at the beginning of February. And, there is a certain quality of like, what's going to happen? Like, what's traffic going to be like? Are people going to do well? Like, is there going to be a lot of new product? Like, everybody's just sort of waiting for the other shoe to drop to a degree. And so I think that is like the best advice for going into it. And you're so right. So much of it is outside of our control.
So the only thing we can control is having a good attitude about it all, even when it really sucks. But you gotta like find the good stuff in everything that you do and take it as a learning lesson. Otherwise, you're just going to be totally miserable in a business that should bring you so much joy.
Totally. And I feel like in my personal, like, I don't know, sometimes, you want something to work out so much that you'll like really, really be pushing it. And you might be ignoring something else that's like kind of working really well, that if you follow that thread, even though it wasn't like what you intended, like there's real potential for something to happen there. So I love that you're so open and present. And yes, I hope that everybody else is in 2025, because often, the way our business is meant to grow is not the way we conceived it. And, you have to sort of be alert to follow it and go on that path of where it's meant to end up, I suppose.
And the journey is like the best part, even if you have no idea where you're going. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. So I'm so excited for you. I do always close with nerd notes. I don't know if you have one today.
Ooh.
I switched up this format a bit. I just asked guests to share a memorable card or letter that they received. Just the first one that comes to mind. So let's hear yours and the circumstances around it. I have a feeling it's going to be good.
Okay. So I turned 40 in November. And then with this new business adventure, my friend Heather from Silver Ribbon Studios, she sent me this whole like gift package with champagne and all these fun gifts. She's also a stationery designer. So this is a gorgeous rose gold foil card that says, "Eek, so fucking happy for you."
Aww.
And then
that's a really nice 40th birthday card.
A sweet love note inside. And yeah, like, and her cards are so freaking quality. Love her. Love the brand. Silver ribbon. Love you, Heather.
I'll have to check them out. Thank you. I mean, I got to check them out. There's nothing like receiving a super thick card in the mail. And I can't believe you're 40. So you seem much younger than me. So congratulations. I'm so excited for your new chapter. I know you're going to stay in touch. And I also feel like I'm going to follow you kind of through your range. I hope you still have the time to occasionally design a card. I feel like in your new business, you probably will think of a lot of situations for cards that maybe wouldn't have come to you when you were running Kitty Meow. So
totally.
It might be very creative for you.
Yes. And every single challenge that I've faced with Kitty Meow has prepared me for this moment, because it's been a very difficult experience with all legal and contracts and like a lease that was over 35 pages long. And I'm like, this is my big girl pants era.
That sounds like a card.
I know. So I'm going to have plenty of material, and you're not going to be getting rid of me that easily. Like, Sarah, truly from the bottom of my heart, like, you have been such a positive mentor, support system, and friend. And I love the hell out of you so much and couldn't be more grateful for you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Your words mean so much. And thank you so much for coming by and sharing this chapter and being so transparent about it. I think it will really, I've enjoyed our conversation clearly, but I think it'll be very illuminating for a lot of makers in our space.
Can't wait to share it on my end.
Thank you. Thank you so much again, Catherine, for dropping in the Paperfold. I am excited for your next adventure in a completely different industry, yet I have a feeling your brand will continue to dazzle. Thank you for being transparent with our community of makers. Voices like yours are the reason it feels more like family. Finally, thank you for listening. Of course, feel free to give me a 5-star rating and review if you are so inclined. It will help new nerds find us. The Paperfold is proud to be a member of the Evergreen Podcast Network. To learn more about this dynamic community, please visit evergreenpodcast.com. Thank you so much, nerds, and please stay safe out there.